Well, the heads of Facebook, Google, and Twitter are being grilled by U.S. congressional members on Capitol Hill today. Lawmakers have criticized the executives for the role that their companies often play in the spread of misinformation. Today's hearing is the first since the U.S. Capitol was stormed by pro-Trump rioters back in January. The hearing could lead to steps to make the tech giants more accountable for the content that they host on their platforms. All right, for more now, I'm joined by DW's chief technology correspondent, Janos Delker. Janos, so you've been following these hearings. Has it been a true grilling?
Well, Brent, it has. I mean, the three of them are really feeling the heat, and you can feel the frustration of lawmakers through the screen. That started with the opening statement of the chairman of the committee, who said, and I quote him, that disinformation was one of the biggest reasons for people in the US not to get vaccinated at the moment. And he added, you can fix this, but you chose not to. This was very much echoed by other lawmakers who said, for example, we want no more empty promises. We've heard them again and again. And, you know, this is the fourth online hearing of big tech since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic. And there were several before that, and I watched quite a number of them. But this level of frustration today is really extraordinary. And you can feel that in the questions that are being asked today.
Yeah, I want you to take a look at an exchange from today's opening question session, and then we'll talk about it. Take a look.
If I ask you a yes or no question, I'm just looking for a yes or no, so please respond appropriately. I want to start by asking all three of you if your platform bears some responsibility for disseminating disinformation related to the election and the Stop the Steal movement that led to the attack on the Capitol. Just a yes or no answer. Mr. Zuckerberg.
Chairman, I think our responsibility is to build systems that can help.
Mr. Zuckerberg, I just want a yes or no answer, okay? Chai, yes or no?
We always feel a deep sense of responsibility, but I think we worked hard. This election effort was one of our most substantive efforts.
Is that a yes or a no?
Congressman, it's a complex question.
Mr. Dorsey.
Yes, but you also have to take into consideration a broader ecosystem. It's not just about the technology platforms we use.
Thank you.
All right. I mean, that's amazing. He was struggling to get one of them to say yes or no. What do you make of that? Are these executives, are they afraid of telling the truth, or is there something else at play here?
Well, you know, I would say, as a matter of fact, it is remarkable that with Jack Dorsey of Twitter, for the first time, a top tech executive acknowledged that his platform had some sort of influence on the riot that happened at the Capitol. And I think this also really illustrates that this is a turning point. You know, before January 6th, people knew that online hate can spill into real life violence. I mean, we've seen that in Myanmar, for example, where for years Facebook was used to incite hatred against the Rohingya minority. But those things happen outside of the US. And what happened on January 6th really hit close to home for US lawmakers. And, you know, now they seem to be getting serious about regulating or some kind of regulation for the liability of platforms.
Yeah, I mean, Dorsey said yes, but he also qualified it, which is part of the problem with questioning these CEOs. So if we're talking about regulation, what do you think tougher regulation is going to look like?
Well, I think, you know, what's key to understand is that in the US, unlike in Germany, for example, social media companies currently essentially enjoy immunity for what's being said or done on their platforms. And this dates back to regulation known as Section 230, which is, you know, was introduced back in 1996. So at the time when all those companies who are there today were just founded. And, you know, what's up for debate now and also during the hearing is really much, you know, how can you update or even repeal that bill? You know, US President Joe Biden has called for fully repealing it. The companies, of course, don't like that idea. They are arguing in favor of reforming it. But the meeting today suggests that, you know, some kind of momentum is building for tougher rules, for liability for social media platforms in the US as well. But make no mistake, it's far from certain how that's going to look like.
Yeah, there is the fear, too. If the companies have to be liable for the content on their platforms, it could be the end of the internet as we know it. We will see. DW's chief technology correspondent, Janos Delker. Janos, thank you.